A vendor who leases a spot at the Two Lovers Point from the Department of Parks and Recreation is selling fruit drinks made from off-island fruit instead of locally grown fruit, despite requirements that fruit drinks at public parks be sold from Guam produce. In addition to this, it appears there may be other violations from vendors at this public park. Here's more.
I don't believe they're abiding by the regulations. There's supposed to only be 5 vendors here at Two Lovers Point, and there's 6. And not all their signs are translated into English according to the rules of Parks and Recs.
Huni Flat works for a juice stand at the Two Lovers Point that leases its space from the Department of Parks and Recreation. She's concerned that there isn't a level playing field because other vendors are not abiding by the rules. Public Law 2215 established a park vendor permit system that allows up to 5 park vendors in Guam's public parks, provided that those vendors enhance the local culture with the goal of cultural preservation. There are 5 stalls at the Two Lovers Point Park and 1 vendor parked on the grass outside of the 5 stalls, making 6 vendors. One of the 5 stalls was empty today, but Flat says the vendor simply didn't show up because of the weather. Flat is wondering how the 6th vendor, called Juiceolix, got approved to park on this grassy area. She's also wondering how a juice vendor in a stall near her is getting away with advertising in the Korean language without translating it into English as per park rules.
For example, if you look at both of their signs, it says Korean owned. And then their sign back here that says iced coffee Americano. And the other lady has Korean owner all over their stand.
We spoke to a man named Baik Hong Sik who told us that his son Tai Jin owns the stand. Hong Sik did not want to give an interview on camera, but he did accuse Flat of being a, quote, liar. At first, Hong Sik said everything on the stand was translated into English. But when we pointed out the words on the bottom right-hand corner of this sign, he admitted that it said Korean owned and was not translated into English. Part of the law that allows these vendors to rent these stalls also requires that the juices they sell come from locally grown produce.
We have land in Guam, they don't. I've always seen costly-less mangoes delivered to them.
We asked Hong Sik whether or not he was getting his fruit from Costuless. At first, he asked what Costuless was. Then, after further questioning, he admitted that he gets his fruit from Costuless, fruit that is not locally grown. In addition to this, Flat says that Hong Sik's stand tells Korean tourists not to go to her stand because it's not Korean owned and Korean made. The stand is owned by local farmer Joaquin Napati.
When tourists come to Guam, they have to try Guam. And since we have all the locally grown produce, it's only fair for them to try, not to be deterred from trying our samples and told not to try because it wasn't Korean owned or Korean made. I just want it to be fair. I just want it to be fair and to follow the rules.
We reached out to the Department of Parks and Recreation, but as of news time, DPR officials were not available for comment.